2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Balls out. Recovered by Keithley. Right side is going to bust it through, making the tackle. Shaq Thompson for a 3-yard loss.
Shaq busted through. My goodness. When you and what we see is long-term offense coming to fruition because Cam is actually a pocket quarterback. Who knew? Oh my goodness.
Tackle for Camry, busting through the 30, 35, 40. Quick race down the right side. Here he goes at the 50, 40, to the Miami 30, 20, at the 10. A swipe with the ankles. They can't get him. Touchdown, Christian McCaffrey.
They can't get him. They can't get him.
They can't get them, but you can catch us. It's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. I'm here with the Pimp Master, Cody Lashley. What's up, my friend? How are you?
What's up, brother? I'm chilling, man. It's a Tuesday night. There's nowhere I'd rather be on Tuesday night. Chilling with my boy, the Professor Tony Dunn, and with the best Panthers chat room on YouTube, Underground West, Legacy Lane, Susan Deans, Tim Tizzy, Michael Jones, Lee Trotter. What's up? Thank you for joining us. And Tony, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for joining the #1 Panthers podcast. Look at this. You're looking at my dope ass dang Charlotte Hornets hat I got for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers. We're 2 days late from Father's Day. But don't worry. You're the man of the year. If you're listening, you're the man of the year. Just like tonight's show is about the man of the year. It doesn't matter what day, what time it is. The show is about Cam Newton. Tonight's show is Starving Time Means Cam Haters Eat. We're going to be talking about, obviously, Cam haters. We'll talk just briefly about that. Mainly, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the opposite of Cam Newton and Josh McCown. We'll talk about a little pro football focus, top 50 players, and some other things. Maybe there were some snubs when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. We're here every Tuesday night. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the show. We love to hear from you if you're listening on the audio podcast on iTunes, TuneIn, or Stitcher. You can follow us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Tonight's show is the 20th episode of this season, Cody. And my man is here each and every week chopping it up with me. And right now, there's really very little to talk about.
Yeah, man, you and I were looking at what we're going to talk about tonight, and there really isn't a whole lot. So as you said, when we really don't have too much to talk about, we default to the man, Cam Newton. And there is some news surrounding Cam a little bit. Ron Rivera had some things to say that we'll talk about. Chris Hogan had some very interesting things to say and some good comparisons. I didn't even mention this with you. Today, the Panthers put out the first video of the Hall of Honor. And
Oh,
Jake
yeah, I
Delhomme.
watched it. How about
Yeah,
this?
that was
I was
fantastic.
the very first view.
Oh shit! That's a
Yeah,
good moment.
because I got it. I got the notifications set, because, hey, and by the way, if you're watching on YouTube right now and you subscribe, you can hit that little bell. That little bell. It looks like a dong, 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 dong. And it will.
Notification Squad.
Yeah. And it will notify you, just like I was at work today, and it notified me that this video came up, and I clicked it as soon as the notification came up. It said 0 views, and I watched it. I was the very first mug to watch the Jake Delhomme video. I watched all 9 minutes of it. I also was the first to comment on it. Not that that's like matters, but the very point that I'm trying to make is that, like you said, they're unleashing these videos, the Hall of Honor. They started with Jake Delhomme. I think, who do we got going in? We got Jake Delhomme. We've got Jordan Groves, Wesley Walls,
Steve Smith.
Is there a fit? Is that it?
Yeah, I think 4. Wesley Walls, Jordan Groves, Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith.
So Steve Smith, they're finishing the series with Steve Smith. And so it's going to start, I think it's going to go Delhomme, then to Gross, then to Walls, then Steve Smith. I'm not 100%. I don't know if I got the Walls and Jordan Gross swapped. But it's really cool to watch this, is that you go back and you think about Jake Delhomme when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. And prior to Cam Newton just being amazing, Cam, what I would say is that Cam is Charlotte's first superstar.
Oh, is there any question to that? I mean, who else would it be?
I think Julius Peppers.
I mean, yeah, there's a star, and then
star.
Super, yeah, but
right. It's like when you go back to what Cam said when he came into the league, and he was talking about being the icon.
Yeah,
Cam is bigger than his play on the field, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here, is that he is our greatest. Whether you think he's the most accomplished Panther, whatever you think about Cam Newton, he is the biggest star we've had. At least he shines the brightest. Maybe it's because he's offensive. I think Julius Peppers was in that conversation. Steve Smith entered that conversation. Cam Newton has dominated that conversation. But what I like
Carl D says Larry Johnson as the first superstar.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
I mean, I know
he was our first. Yeah, I mean, you think about Alonzo, Larry Johnson together, Grandmama.
Dude, how about the Hornets? How about the Hornets traded Kobe Bryant to the Lakers?
Well, no.
How?
It's not them. They didn't do that. He forced it. He forced it like a Phillip River, like Eli forced it.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Oh, so he said, bump shot.
No, he already said he would not play from them for the beginning.
Damn.
Yeah. So, I mean, Larry Johnson, Ken D says, Larry Johnson, the running back. Larry Johnson, the running back, won me a fantasy football championship. That's for damn sure. That mug was the man. I think, though, I think that Cam, I don't think Cam is our first celebrity superstar, right? Is that I think Julius Peppers is the best Carolina Panther. I think that Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly and Steve Smith, like, we could debate about who is next after that. But when it comes to all of this, is Cam Newton makes the Carolina Panthers interesting and relevant each and every week. He's the biggest. Yeah. It's you cannot. I don't know. It's tough to quantify what he has done for our organization. But look, but Jake Delhomme is the complete opposite. Jake Delhomme is the opposite of Cam Newton. He's undrafted. He played time in NFL Europe. But I would say prior to Cam, he was – I know prior to Cam, he's our best quarterback ever in the whole franchise. He was amazing. And how cool is that an undrafted free agent or whatever can come in and do all of that, make big bucks with the Carolina Panthers, and mean so much to us where he gets a bust. He is the first dude in the Hall of Honor, and kudos to him. He made us exciting, or he helped us be exciting, should I say. I love Jake
Sam
Delhomme.
Sam Mills is the first person, I believe, in the Hall of Honor. And then, Jake Delhomme. I mean, what other person other than Sam Mills, obviously, would you put instantly right away? I mean, Jake Delhomme.
Well, when I say first, I don't mean that the first in our Hall of Honor, but the first that they released.
Right, the first new one.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best choice, don't you? I mean, led us to a Super Bowl, and a great football team, a wonderful season for a relatively new football team.
That was his first year with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, man.
He comes in competing for a spot, and my man takes us to a Super Bowl that year. That was 2003. Played with us. He signed a big contract in 2005, I believe, 2006. No, but we made the playoffs 3 times with him. We made the playoffs with 3. And here's the thing. Don't forget how great Cam is with this, is that we made the playoffs with Jake 3 times in 5 years. I think we made it 03, 05, and maybe 4. But Cam did that already and made it look easy.
Yeah.
You know, and people act, well, I'm not, again, we'll talk about how awesome Cam is, but kudos to Jake Delhomme. It's a great story. Go watch the video. It's very short, 9 minutes, does no justice to his career in Carolina. I think Jake Delhomme was too stupid to know how good he was. And I'm not trying to mean like he's an idiot, but like he was dumb enough to take chances.
How about he was the backup to Kurt Warner in Amsterdam?
Yes.
I had no idea until I saw that in the video today.
I was thinking about this when it came to who was that jackass that we drafted in the second round right before Cam that Mel Kiper said was the man. He came out of Notre Dame. And he was Blaine. No, not Blaine. No, that Blaine Gabbert.
Clausen.
Jimmy Clausen. All right. So when I think about Jimmy Clausen, one of the things that I was crazy about I would just lose my mind watching him play, is he was too scared to throw the ball more than a wide open receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless the dude was wide the fuck open, he was not interested in throwing it. And he wouldn't throw the ball. It was like an old one-eyed Winky. What was his name? Something Winky that we had before Jake Delhomme. His name is, he was a 30-year-old Heisman winner, and his name was something Winky.
I don't know.
One-eyed Winky is what I called him. Hold on. The chat room will get us. Don't worry. The one-eyed Winky. Anyway, these guys were too gun shy to throw the ball down the field in fear of making him Chris Winky, Lee Trotter. Thank you, Lee. Chris Winky.
Yeah, that's it.
They were too gun shy to throw the ball downfield. Specifically, Jimmy Clausen, too gun shy to throw down the field. And so when Cam came into the league, one of the things, go back and listen to the podcast 5 years ago. And I know that's not when Cam came into the league, but we've been doing this 5-6 years now, 6 or 7 maybe. The point that I'm trying to make is I'd rather at least have a quarterback that takes a risk than one who is too scared to throw the ball. And you think about a Brett Favre, you think about, to me, Jake Delhomme was our Brett Favre. He was too dumb, and not him as being intelligent dumb, to know better. He just threw what he saw, and I loved it, and it worked out.
I'm going to throw the ball. I'm going to pray like hell that Steve Smith is down there, and if he's down there, he's going to catch the ball. And if it's not him, it's going to be Musa Muhammad.
Yeah.
And I understand. He would launch the football, and really that made the team much more dynamic, and the ability to stretch the field and throw the ball all over. That's what you have to do. Holy cow,
Brandon Herbert is in the chat room. Brandon Herbert. What's up, Brandon? Welcome back to the show. Brother Herbert. No, so to me that's interesting. I love the story of Jake Delhomme. I love the idea of this is that that was our best quarterback until Cam Newton. How about that? How about that? For sure. Is that your best quarterback in franchise history was an undrafted free agent, and you want to talk shit about Cam Newton and what he's done for the Carolina Panthers? Fuck y'all.
But listen, I think what you said is undeniable, though. Charlotte doesn't have and never had a bigger superstar that was tied to the city the way that he is. You know, Carl did mention Ric Flair. And, Ric Flair was super famous, but when you think about him, you don't think of Charlotte. You know, you don't think of the Carolinas per se.
And he's such a fucking dick. Excuse my language. He cheers for any man. Kick him out of Charlotte. Kick him out.
He's a fan of the Falcons one year, then
the Packers the other. Yeah,
the Packers, and never some hometown love. What the hell, nature boy? I believe it's undeniable. No one has as much recognition, name value, as much importance as Cam Newton does to Charlotte. There have been some fantastic ones, but no one on the level of numero uno.
Well,
not even close.
Yeah, and so thank you, Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith, for making us relevant. I love the idea that Steve Smith don't talk shit to Jake Delhomme still. Like, they're boys.
Yeah,
and when you watch the video, the best story is Jordan Gross, where Jake Delhomme's not talking shit, but something happened. Him and Steve Smith are about to get into it verbally, and Jake Delhomme is tough enough or dumb enough to go after it. And Jordan Gross says Jake Delhomme put his chin strap back on. Like he strapped his helmet up before he went and confronted Steve Smith. Like, I'm ready. I got to get ready. I'm going into battle against Steve Smith. I love that.
He might throw a blow at me. I better be prepared.
Yeah. I mean, total competitor, Steve Smith. And that's why they're saving him for the last, because he really is the greatest Panther. And while I will say that I continue to believe that it goes Julius Peppers is the best Panther ever, I think he's our best player. Like, I think Steve Smith is the best. Well, I mean, ultimately, I think of him as a Panther. Sad that he went to finish those last couple years in Baltimore, but he had the most productive. He was the most productive Panther. There really was.
Well, here's the deal. And I know that Brother Herbert is in the chat. Everyone knows I'm a Cam Newton super fan, but I'll say this. If we win a Super Bowl with Cam Newton, best Panther, most talented, whatever you say, no matter how much you love anyone else, it's Cam Newton and then everyone else. And I mean, you look at the size, the athleticism, the ability to throw the football, no matter what you think of inconsistencies or whatever, that type of player has almost never been seen before in the type of package that Cam Newton has. So, I mean, the man is incredible. And if he wins another one, dude, Cam Newton and then everyone else.
All right, Susan, thank you so much. Again, the most generous person on YouTube. Susan.
Love you, Susan.
You did not. You don't have to do that, but thank you. And you can bring your phone into the kitchen, just to let you know. The show's title is Starving Time Means Cam Haters Eat. And I'm with you, Cody, is that if Cam Newton, he's not far off already, to be honest. But if he wins a Super Bowl.
Already number 2 and number 3.
Yeah, is that the only reason he's number 2 is that we can debate if it's Julius Peppers. We can debate over it's Steve Smith, but they've already had their entirety of their career. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that the fact that Cam has been this amazing already and he's only 8-9 years into his career is important to consider. You're looking at not the totality of events, but the whole, you're looking at a partial window. But let's go ahead and talk about the reason I titled the show this. Starving Time Means Cam Haters Eat, is because somehow on Twitter there was some sort of Cam Newton discussion or something, and then some asshole who is his Twitter handle was like John Elway's ego, or I can't remember what it was, and he made a joke about Cam not jumping on the football or whatever, not being good in the press conference afterwards.
The same old bullshit,
right,
pretty much.
But John Elway, 14 years before he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Five Super Bowl appearances. He's 2-3 in the Super Bowl, I believe. The fact that I think that one of the things that the internet has done when it comes to statistics for football players or whatever it may be, or any sports player, is that we think that like nothing means like it's not cool that anymore. It's like, oh, you rushed for 1,500 yards or 2,000 yards, no big deal. Somebody did that. I don't know. Here's the idea: is Cam. If Cam went down, if Cam retired tomorrow, he would have a more accomplished career than like 95% of people who played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Making it to the playoffs 4 times in his career already, winning an NFC championship, being to a Super Bowl, and offensive rookie of the year, an MVP. Those are like all you need. If he gets a ring, Cody, it's like game over. Like, shut the fuck up, people.
About, do you think about Hall of Fame with Cam Newton, and you already look at the records that he's broken? Listen, I think I can already make the case. Especially if he plays another 20. I am certain if he plays another 5 years, we're gonna have a Super Bowl. I'm telling you that there is a Super Bowl victory in our very near future. I'm telling you this as I am right now. But even off of what he's done right now, the amount of records that he's broken, who's been able to do what Cam Newton has? He's up there when you match him on a lot of different things, stats, most rushing touchdowns. The threat of Cam Newton running the football makes him one of the hardest quarterbacks to prepare for. So, yeah, if Cam Newton wins a Super Bowl with Carolina, come on, he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, definitely he is. I think he already is close, but you're right, is that it's solidified at that point. I don't know what we need these days to be excited. I guess the haters are going to hate, right? Starving time means Cam haters are going to eat. All right, let's go on this. Let's talk about this. Is that while we're talking about a remarkably accomplished player getting hated on, let's talk about a remarkably unaccomplished player in Josh McCown getting a lot of love from every one of the 8 teams he played for. Josh McCown announced his retirement, and it is relevant to the Carolina Panthers because he played 2 seasons for the Carolina Panthers. He is also retiring to help coach his son who lives in Charlotte. He played in 2008 and 2009. He had a 16-year career, Josh McCown. He finished his career 23-53. Ugh, yuck. He was 3-0 as a Carolina Panther, but he also only threw one pass for 6 yards as a Carolina. How do you go 3-0 as a Carolina Panther? How do you play? He must have come in for one down and kneeled it in one game. I don't even understand this. He played 2 games in 2008, and he had a 0 stat line with a QBR of 6.8. In 2009, he played 1 game. He threw one pass for six. Oh, he was 1 for 6. Excuse me, 1 for 6 with a 16% completion rate. He got 2 yards passing as a Carolina Panther. I saw somebody say that he had an admirable career. And I would say admirable is one way of looking at it. Since 2011, he has gone. No, since 2013, he went 3, 4, 5, 5 and 10. He went 10 and 12 and 7 is 19. 19 and 18 is what? 27. He went 10 and 30.
Yeah, that's not the best record in the world.
God bless you, Josh McCown.
But I do want everyone to have the moment that you had before the show when you realized he's a better basketball player than he is a football player, dude. If you don't know, Josh McCown was a very highly recruited basketball player coming out of high school. And he had offers to go play legit basketball. Homeboy can ball. Maybe he picked the wrong thing, man. Maybe he picked the wrong career path.
Sounds like it. Nah, actually, 16 years, he probably made $50 million. He probably made, how about this? Jake Delhomme getting in the Hall of Honor. And Josh McCown probably made twice as much money as him.
That's insane, right? Absolutely insane. Brought his team to a Super Bowl. Yeah. Hey, man, it's a hard knocks life.
Hey, hard knocks life.
That's how it rolls sometimes.
All right.
That's how it rolls sometimes.
So to you, Josh McCown, well done. And all right, so what else we got to talk about tonight? Oh,
let's. How many cat calls do we have? You want to sparse a few in now, then talk?
Yeah. And let's go ahead and get into that. We got a couple. We got a good amount tonight.
Let's
see what we got to go.
Let's do it.
What are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
I hope y'all having a good day. I'm glad y'all be doing this podcast. I haven't called in for a while. I feel like a while anyway. But I just wanted to ask this and get y'all's thoughts. I know y'all talking about Cam Newton throwing motion, and a lot of people is doubting Cam Newton, which is crazy because it is, I guess, with the odd year. Which I'm tired of that too. I'm tired of just we having a bad year and the odd year. To me, I do feel like this should be wrong. There's this deadline. This should be the deadline for Ron Rivera. If we have another mediocrity season, you need to go. You need to kick the bucket. Kick the bucket. And also, I want to see, do y'all care more about Cam Newton arm strength? Because I do eventually believe that's going to come back. Like it's proven with Tom Brady, Drew Brees, them having arm surgery and they getting their strength back. To me, I don't really worry about Cam Newton's arm strength. It's more of him analyzing the game. That's why I think Cam Newton needs to get better at analyzing, making his progressions up the field. If he gets that down pat, I think we'll be unstoppable. Because to me, he's just like a John Elway. He got the cannon arm. He got the mobility. He just got to be able to go through his progressions better. Because this is 9th, 10th year in the league. So
We
We
definitely
need to
got to
see
talk
some
about
type
this.
of growth. I want to see some growth in that. And also, how do y'all feel as well, like if this year, because of the weapons we have on offense, do y'all feel like Christian McCaffrey should get that brunt of that load that he had last year, or should it be lessened up this year? Because I think he should definitely have a less load, and it will take the pressure off him. And he didn't get banged up really last year. I mean, I like Steve Mac Miller, and I want to keep him for a while. He do everything. So do y'all think we should like do the same thing we did last year, or this year involve everybody? We need to see more Curtis Samuel. Everybody on Curtis Samuel now. But Curtis
Everybody's
Samuel,
on
DJ
Curtis Samuel,
Moore,
yeah,
I do believe Ian Thomas would be a lot better. What do y'all think about that? And also the nickel. Because that's, to me, the only problem we have in the secondary is the nickel. I like Dante Jackson and James Bradbury. What do y'all think about our nickel situation? Hope y'all have a great day and a blessed week as well.
What a great call that is. 4 questions. Let's start with Ron
fantastic
Rivera.
call.
Ron Rivera,
Okay.
first question, I think is the easiest. Is that I think that we have said that, Cody, you have been adamant about you wanted Ron Rivera gone last year. Or this past
I thought
season,
it was time.
right?
Yeah, I thought that based off of last season, it was time. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that
you were
yeah,
wrong.
I'm
You were
obviously
wrong.
pulling
You
for
were
the
one season too early. But I think this is that Hurney has pushed the chips all in. Hurney has given Ron Rivera the most tools he can give him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot sit back and look at this. In the past, we've gone, well, Ron Rivera has done a lot with what he has maybe had. Cam Newton has done more than what he has been could do than anybody else. But at the end of the day, I think we've said that, I've said this over and over, is that both Marty Hurney and Ron Rivera's jobs are on the line this year, and not even just on the line. It's like success or none. Like if we win 8 games this year, everybody getting fired. Everybody.
Yeah, you have to, because David Tepper came in, everybody was in place, so he let them have their season. Then he let them have one more season,
and so they've done great. Marty Hurney has gone fucking balls to the walls.
Marty Hurney has done a fantastic job. But what are our criticisms of Ron Rivera? That he doesn't put the most talented player at certain positions. He'll go with seniority too much. And there are times when certain players don't see the field enough. There are times when he is terrible at managing timeouts and the clock. All of those things we need to see change. I'm hoping that they will. If they don't, then it's very reasonable that, maybe I was right. Maybe Ron Rivera should have gone. But I am hopeful. I do think that Ron Rivera has acknowledged that it does have to change. That said, we've all said that might be cutting the crust off of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We don't know what that means.
It went to a fucking 3-4. I think I think that this staff, and I would say, is that Marty Hurney has done everything that he could. It's hard to think of an offseason where he could have kind of done more, right? On top of that, I think that Ron Rivera switching to this 3-4 has shown I think that Ron Rivera has grown, maybe. I don't know. Is that I'm on the keep Ron Rivera train right now. And we'll have to see this season how it goes. But right now, I feel that Gerald McCoy coming to the Carolina Panthers and citing the continuity of leadership is a big deal. And while we can look at I feel like if you go and you look at any other podcast or blog, they're all talking shit about how their coaches use timeouts. Just like we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, so... No, I mean, it is infuriating. It is infuriating that he is not better at what you would think he would be great at, which is you're a defensive damn coach. You should know how to wind the fucking clock down.
at this point in the ball game, you would think that he would know some of this. Also, he would choose to kick field goals instead of going for it with 1 yard left with the most dominant short yardage player in the NFL. So, with that said, everyone, we are joined by one of the founders of the C3 podcast, Joe Riolano. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to be with you guys. I'm looking forward to being on the rest of the show.
Good to have you, man.
Joe, we came
Tony,
in here hot,
uh,
bro. We came in here hot. I was setting up the show at 8, whatever. I was texting you the link after we already started. We are hot as a mug, but at the same time, there's really not been a ton to talk about. What we're talking about now, we've been talking about Josh McCown's retirement. We've been talking about Ron Rivera's evolution as a coach. And we have 4 questions. We already started the cat calls. The first question was about Ron Rivera and him being a make it or break it. The number 2 question, I believe, was, let's go back to this. Going back to the call, I can remember maybe 3 out of 4. One was, should we be concerned about the role of Christian McCaffrey? It may be too much being a problem. He did play 100% of the offensive snaps. I agree with the caller on this. 100% of the snaps, too much. I'm okay if he plays 98% of the snaps. But I'm almost like this, is screw it. You're not going to like this, folks, when you hear it. Let's just run that ass right in the ground. That's how I feel about any running back, is just run their ass in the ground and churn them out and move on. I'm not saying that I'm ready to move on from Christian McCaffrey, but trying to guard him and shield him is a long game, and I don't know if that's what you need to do with running backs. Joey, what do we do with Christian McCaffrey?
Well, I mean, you have to consider who your backups are, too. You know, we don't have another Christian McCaffrey at running back.
Or another running back, period, right now.
I think we have some in the stable that are going to prove
we got a lot of names.
Right, we have a lot of names. And we have some that could be interesting, but right now, we don't know. But, I mean, honest to God, you want your best players on the field for most of the time. And you gotta remember, his deal is not running between the tackles solely.
Right.
You know? So it's not like he's taking a big meeting.
It's not like he's Leonard Fournette, just black.
Right, exactly.
And that'll help him out, too. You know, him.
Yeah.
I mean, if
it's like a slot receiver.
It kind of goes back to Ron Rivera. If Ron Rivera is able to utilize the talent, and I guess more so Norv Turner, but considering his work with LaDainian Tomlinson, I'm not worried about the number of snaps that McCaffrey gets. If he's used effectively, he'll be used in between the tackles and as an all-around weapon that he is. You know, him and Cam Newton have built a connection in their 2 years playing together. Christian knows when blitzes are coming. He has to know just like Cam Newton has to know. So that means he knows if he's on a hot route, on a check down. You know, Christian is a comfort blanket of sorts. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all about the touches. I'm with both of you. Have him on the field, man. When you have a weapon like that, you better be using them. That's an all-purpose back.
Well, I mean, it's callous to say that I want to run somebody in the ground, but running back is the position to do that at. They're discardable. You know what I'm saying? Is to think about this is that if Christian McCaffrey is half the player he is in 7 years, that is a feat in itself.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty impressive.
You know, I don't care if you didn't play him at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, is that the idea is it's a brutal position. I think that it's like, look, Alvin Kamara, I think that's what made, who's my man, that Marshall Faulk. That's what made him so amazing. Is that he was able to carry, and Edgerrin James, another player like that. Emmitt Smith, another one that they were able. There was a longevity that outshined that position group generally, you know. And I think Marshall Faulk is probably the closest comparison to Christian McCaffrey that I can think of. Is that a guy that is more deadly in space? And look, is that the God bless it is if you take Christian McCaffrey off the field, that's like taking Cam Newton off the field. Finally, we finally got somebody that can make plays. Finally.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I mean, we haven't had a dynamic running back. It was a.
We haven't had a dynamic anything other than Cam since 2010, 2011.
And boom, that's the perfect segue. Let's go to the first part of that call. Because he was asking, are we worried about Cam Newton's arm strength?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. I could not remember what it was.
He said that it wasn't, but he was very worried about Cam Newton being able to read the field. And some of y'all are just going to have to be honest with me here. Who are y'all watching? Who are y'all? What makes someone think that Cam Newton doesn't read the field? He doesn't have a number one wide receiver and hasn't had one since Steve Smith. So he's had to spread the ball around, had to fit the football into tight windows. I don't understand where this notion comes from.
I'll tell you why. Because he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Isn't reading the field correctly.
Well, I think this is because Cam Newton seems at times a hair slow on just making the decision. At times.
Yeah, trying to play superhero ball.
Maybe that's what we continue to say. We continue to say is he's waiting for the play to develop. But we've watched him. We've watched him. We've watched every play. And I will, and they are right on this, is that Cam tends to have to see the receiver open rather than throwing him open.
I don't know if I agree with that, man.
I don't totally disagree with that.
It was hard for me to say it, Joe. Because I've never said anything bad about Cam, ever.
Well, I think there may be something to that. That's not a slight against Cam. I think it's because he's always had an arm that was strong enough to fit it into those windows, so he didn't have to develop that anticipation.
Right.
And the offenses he's been in, I'm sure that anticipation hasn't really been a big factor into where he's going.
Joseph Broach says you will be a hair slow if your wide receiver doesn't get separation. I agree.
Thank you. And then Brandon Herbert says, I'll fight you on having a number one. Outside of Steve Smith, who has ever been a number one receiver for Cam Newton?
None.
Greg Olsen, the tight end, maybe.
Yeah.
Are we saying that? All right. Okay, but that's a tight end.
You can't say a tight end is a number one. That doesn't even make sense.
Right.
So
that's like saying that your guard is your best offensive lineman, and that's awesome.
So, okay, who are we talking about? Ted Ginn Jr., Jericho Cotchery, Brandon LaFell. I mean, who are we talking about?
LaFell was better than.
The closest thing to one was
Steve Smith in his back. And look,
Steve Smith, yes, but since him, it has to be
nobody. Kelvin Benjamin, his rookie year. His rookie year.
The fact that it took you a minute to think of it, the fact that it would take anyone a minute to think of it, that's the answer in my opinion. And if you have to search the data banks that hard, he's never had a legitimate number one. He's never even had a T.Y. Hilton on the football team. I have seen Cam
And
Newton.
T.Y. Hilton is a 2 still.
I think so too. I would take him as one. He'd be our number one.
Let me tell you what, I'm not
Cam Newton has had nothing. He has had nothing on this team until Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey was the first guy that was a playmaker outside. Now, I mean, I will say, look, is that we did have Jonathan Stewart, who had a resurgence in 1 year. We had D'Angelo, who was pretty good, who resurged a couple of years ago. You had Steve Smith at these times, but you're talking about people that are on the back end of their careers. So, look, we don't need to make that discussion. We all understand that. The question is this. Is it about Cam Newton's progressions, or is it about his arm strength? Cody, last week you said this, is that you're not going to feel good until you see his ass throw a damn deep ball down the field on his 100%. Knees. Yeah, exactly. And I'm with you on that. But I do agree with this, is that I do think with the call, I mean, look, is Cam's greatest strength dissecting everything and moving through the progressions and doing all this as fast as possible? Maybe not, but I think he's gotten better at it. I thought you saw that last year. I think I continue to see Cam Newton develop as that pocket quarterback, even though people say and continue to say he can't be or he hasn't been that. I've seen it happen, and when he has time, he is better than people give him credit for.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we have this conversation all the time now. And I understand that, it's polarizing. But at the same time, I have seen Cam Newton. I've seen him throw people open. Now, if you want to say,
sure. Like, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying if there is a part of his game. All right, how about this? If you don't like the throw an open one, how about this one? Is that we know that the touch pass has not been his forte. And that is he's kind of like playing catch with my kids, is that I have these little children who are under 6 years old, and they throw the ball at, and they'll be like right beside you, and they're like, hey, you want to play catch? And you're like, sure. And they rocket that shit right at you, and you're like, whoa. I mean, that's the Cam Newton. Those are the criticisms that I think are okay and realistic, but I don't give a shit because Cam Newton is awesome.
And then this is my thing. So Cam Newton's throwing the deep ball and is one of the best at it. What happens as soon as you put a running back around him that can catch the football? Cam Newton's throwing to Christian all the time. Like he's done it his whole life. You have to show me evidence that Cam Newton doesn't do something before you tell me that he doesn't do it well. That's all I'm saying to anyone.
I'm at the point is that I don't care. All right, first let's give a little shout out to Underground West. He says I think Curtis Samuel will emerge as the number one this season. I would say don't sleep on DJ, but okay, I'm happy if that's the case. Joseph Broach says that Cam still went to a Super Bowl first and was the league MVP first. I think he's comparing that to other players in Panther history. For me, is that one of the things that the internet does, podcasts like us, blogs on everything, tweets on everything, is we focus only on what someone can't do or doesn't do. Right. Rather than focusing on what they do. That's right. I said it. Do. And Cam doo-doo is better than your doo-doo. And he's been better than everybody else's doo-doo everywhere. That's the point is that like, all right, yeah, he throws he doesn't have the best touch ball. But you want Josh McCown, assholes?
Yeah, and 100%. And by the way, just like on the touch passes, Joseph Broach said it. That Cam historically wasn't great on the touch passes, but then he proved that he can do it. You add a weapon that allows him to be able to do it, and then he does it more. It's almost like, whoa, it happens like that on purpose. I mean, listen, everyone thinks that I love everything Cam Newton does. I worship the ground that he walks on. That I'm never critical of him. And fuck, maybe I do. But what I do know,
hell yeah.
But listen, I'm not saying that he's a perfect quarterback. There's no such thing.
You're fired. Fired from the C3 Panthers podcast.
But,
it's perfect.
Yeah, my bad. It's perfect. See, I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. If I don't worship him, I'm fired. If I praise him too much, I'm a Cam Newton ball rider.
Cuckold.
Yeah. My favorite word. Yeah.
I would say this is that Cam Newton's doo-doo smells like flowers. It does.
How do you know?
Well, because how do you know? Why you didn't? You didn't know? All right.
I just.
God, your doo-doo smells like shit. That's
it does.
what I would say.
I promise it does.
All right, so we got through I think, to me, I am with you on this. I'm with you, Cody, that the biggest question mark is not about if he goes through his progressions faster, but I want to see Cam Newton launch that football over them fucking mountains.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And
vintage. Vintage.
Could be right.
All right, so
60 yards minimum.
Yeah, exactly. So then the fourth part of the call, I think, was Curtis Samuel. Now,
no, wasn't it nickel?
Oh yeah. Oh, the fourth part was all right. So Curtis Samuel, everybody's on Curtis Samuel's D right now. Everybody.
That's a long question. He got 4 of them, man.
He did. He got 4 questions in 3 minutes. God bless him, because most people can't get 1 question in 3 minutes.
That's how you add to the show.
Well done. So I think Curtis Samuel, I'm excited about him. I still think DJ Moore I think y'all are sleeping on DJ Moore, but I hope Curtis Samuel, if Curtis Samuel's the number 1 and DJ's the number 2, that's like the best thing I've ever heard. The fourth question is this, going back to the nickel defense. I love this part of the question, Cody, because everybody keeps saying, oh, we're not running a 3-4 defense. They're going to play nickel. And then, now when we start thinking about nickel, who the hell is the fucking nickel cornerback? Is it Corn Elder? Is it Dante Jackson? Please, I want Dante Jackson on the outside. I want Dante Jackson. I feel like he's our Deion Sanders, bro. That's what I think Dante Jackson could be. I mean, I don't know who. You know what? I don't know. I don't really know what the nickel's going to look like. Some people have said slide Golden in there. Some people are upset. I saw the best thing. It was Pat Coltrane. And you can see he's got the train stop. I think that's on Wednesday nights. The train stop is another Panthers podcast. Pat Coltrane said this. Pat Coltrane had the best tweet. And it was when Corn Elder picked off this pass from like Will Greer or somebody. And he said, y'all picked on Corn Elder so much that he backpedaled his whole life. And like he backpedaled all the way. It's like he didn't ever turn around. Like, because you were talking shit about him not turning around. That mug never. It was the best. I got to go back and get the tweet. But Corn Elder, he could be something. Everybody was so hype on him. Who gives a shit about the nickel corner? I do think it's important as in a position, but what do you do there? What do you do at nickel? To the caller, Joey, what do you do? I think the one person that we're sleeping on is that guy that played for Duke that broke his leg last year. who came from the Giants, and his name is, somebody in the chat room help me out, and that is we signed him as a free agent last year, and then he got hurt in training camp.
No, you mean Ross Cockrell.
Cockrell. Get off my Cockrell. Yeah. Get off my Cockrell. I mean, can he play outside? And then you put, what do you do at the nickel, Joey?
Nickels usually cover the slot guy. You bring him in and they cover that guy that lines up in between the tackle and receiver opposite the tight end. Or sometimes on the same side with the tight end. So usually they have to cover a receiver. A lot of the time, a shifty, really quick guy.
So you don't want a big guy. You don't want a guy that, which has always been kind of strange because some of the nickel corners that have been best for us have been a little longer than I expected them to be.
Mm-hmm. You're right. I would agree with that statement.
I'm trying to think of that guy that we brought in 2015. What was his name? Something Johnson or something. We brought this guy in, and he had been in the league for a minute, and he added a lot to our team. And I thought, man, you're not athletic enough to play the nickel, and he did it okay because at least you keep it in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you make a mistake, good point. Ideally, the strong safety and the free can bottle it up. It was Cortland Finnegan. Exactly. Finnegan comes in, and there was another guy that came in. I thought his name was something Johnson. Drayton Florence was Leonard something. Thank you, Carlton. Leonard something. That's the exact one I'm thinking. Leonard. I cannot believe, but I look and I think of him, and I just was like, man, he's longer than I expected, right? But Trill says this: anything is better than Captain Munnerlyn, and I think that's true. Is that here's the thing: is Captain Munnerlyn was not good for it did not work coming back. The coming back home party did not work.
And do you remember we had that Minnesota guy come on our show, and he had us hyped up for Captain Munderland and how great he was in Minnesota.
And he was great for us when he left, too.
I mean, yeah, right. He was great for us when he left. I don't know. That's a wide open spot right now.
Leonard Johnson is the name.
I do agree with you. I want Dante on the outside. Let me tell you, from everything that I have seen of Dante Jackson, he has everything that you want in an outside shutdown corner. I mean, that's what the man does, and he's a badass at it. Corn Elder, Rashawn, Golden is someone that I've heard a lot about at that position, and apparently he bought into that. So now he's ready to compete at that position. I'm happy with either of those two. You draft a player and put him in, and stop the down the field outside routes, stop the verticals, and we're good to go. The pass rush should be able to get home.
What a fantastic call. You just made our show. In fact, how about this?
Yeah.
It's call into the Cat Calls line at 252-228-5098. And you didn't say who your name was, but call again at the beginning of the show because you made the whole show. Well done. Great call. Let's see what we got next.
I hear Jordan Rodriguez leaving. The only cute reporter.
Oh, God. My man was crying. Hold on. I'm going to play it again. Hold on. Wait. Here we go. One more time.
I hear Jordan Rodriguez leaving. The only cute reporter.
God. My man's crying.
He's torn up.
He's crying. that Jordan Rodriguez. First of all, let me give you this. Maybe my ice up pick should be to all you stupid ass beat writers who think you're cooler than the damn C3 Panthers podcast. You come on the show and then you ghost us afterwards. I try to say nice things to you, like congratulations. You say thank you to everybody. And not that, I mean, I guess maybe I am petty enough to need to thank you, but Jesus Christ, y'all are here for 2 years and then you leave.
Yeah.
You can't say hello or goodbye, but God damn it. We've been here for 7 years. Take that, motherfuckers. Nah.
And Marcel Luis left as well. He didn't ghost anybody, but it was great when we had him on.
And so was Jordan when she came on. The great when they came on. But, like, it's like, Jesus, y'all mugs think you're cooler than you are. I will say this, is that Jordan Rodriguez put out this post. Actually, both of them. How is the Charlotte Observer going to replace 2 beat writers in the same moment? That's got to be tough. Joe, what you got?
I got some.
But I'm saying that's ridiculous to have to do that.
Yeah,
like entertained.
And both of them were newer. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you had like a 10-year-old vet. Joe Person had already left. He was the old hat. He left and went to the Athletic. Jordan Rodriguez stepped into his position. Marcel Louis-Jacques comes in and steps into Jordan Rodriguez's position as the baby. Look, Jordan Rodriguez was wet behind the ears when she came to Carolina. Mm-hmm. We have nothing right now. Our beat writers right now, I don't know what the Charlotte Observer is doing, but what does that tell us about the new? I mean, I think arguably it tells us a lot about the newspaper industry.
100%.
As a whole.
Because you would be thinking this is that you land that job and you trying to be the next. I'm trying to think of the other guy that's like some of those guys. Something starts with F. Fowler. Something Fowler, who writes for the Observer, who's been there for like 30 years.
Yeah, Jerry Fowler or something.
Yeah, but these people are moving on. Now, Jordan Rodriguez, you know what is I would argue that Jordan Rodriguez, I won't argue it. I think she was a motivated beat writer. She was enthusiastic. She was not.
She asked great questions.
Yeah, she asked a lot of questions, Cody.
Right, man.
She interrupted everybody, though. Poor Joe Person over there trying to get a question. We haven't heard that dude from ESPN ask a question in like 12 years.
Who?
The one everybody hates. Who does everybody hate from me?
David Newton?
Yeah. I have not heard David Newton ask a question in a press conference. Yes, ever, Joe. She asked, go back and watch the last couple of press conferences with any player, and she's apologizing to all the other writers for like asking all the questions. But I think that's enthusiasm. I know it's enthusiasm. She struggled, though. She did not say this in her, like, I wonder what you call the letter you write, thank you for my time here. She wrote this on Twitter, like, check out my thread, like, thank you for this opportunity. She did not mention the Cam Newton routes experience. And not that I expected her to.
She didn't mention Cam Newton at all. She mentioned Julius Peppers, Jonathan Stewart,
yes, she
Coleman.
Did. Yeah,
mentioned Kurt Coleman.
She didn't mention nothing about no routes.
No, Lee Trotter says the rumors is that she's taking David Newton's spot at ESPN covering us.
Oh, interesting.
Now that's a rumor. I don't know, but that's what Lee Trotter
would not be bad, but I would say she's going to get fired shortly unless she starts making some headlines on her own like David does. Anyway, The number's 252-228-5098. We had nothing to talk about. We're over an hour into the show, and we've only gotten to the second call. Here's the second call of the Cat Calls line.
The third.
I hear Jordan Rodriguez.
Oh, it's the same one. Oh, it's the third. Sorry. All right. Sorry, I forgot about that guy crying. The crying ass Jordan Rodriguez fan. I've never heard anything like that. I feel bad for that mug.
Hey, Cody, Tony, what's going on? It's Josh from Mass. I know I was absent last week. You'll have to excuse my lack of attendance in the chat and on the calls.
Oh, you're excused. You had perfect attendance until then.
I was just beat. Anyway, I noticed everybody talking about Cam's quote-unquote new and improved throwing motion, all this. There's been a lot of talk about, well, was his motion really that bad before? Because he's always had a howitzer for an arm. And that's true. He always has.
That's the word, howitzer.
But I think the reason it's being called new and improved is because if you look at the way he's throwing, he's not just throwing and putting it all on his shoulder and upper back. And, he's stepping into his throws. And although it's not a wildly different, it's not a massive difference.
It's a zero difference.
It's smoother. It's less stressful on that shoulder.
Throwing 5 yards.
I think some of Cam's shoulder problems last season in a row, from the way he throws the ball, couldn't deliver a crisp, clean, smooth, pass. But it wasn't the regular thing. Let's be honest. Cam would just get out there and huck that ball wherever it's going to go. And when you start getting into those kind of habits, it doesn't matter how much you practice. It doesn't matter about how much time you spend on it. If your motion isn't proper, you're going to have the balls that drift a little bit higher than you want. They drift off to the outside a little bit more. And sure, again, you've got plenty of power, but now you're working your arm and your ligaments harder than you need to. So I think what we're seeing is Cam starting to pair up some intelligence, some more intelligence with his athleticism, which is really, not to say he's ever been lacking.
Right.
But if he's lacking anything, let's be honest, it's been football IQ. Not saying he's dumb, but if he's got any shortcoming, honestly, I'd say that's it. So I think it's just a better way for him to be prepared for what he's going to be doing. And I'm running up on my limit here. God damn. 252, 53, 54.
Look
All
at
right.
These
I'll
mugs
call back.
know exactly.
You'll hear me in a minute.
Yeah, look, first of all, y'all are cool as a mug when you already know. Y'all are like this. I'm on my limit. These guys are timing their own calls. I love it. All right, so I'll turn this over to Joey. I'm Cam Newton's mama bear. You talked about my son's intelligence. No, but I mean, I think he's right. Is that, like, it's kind of like this. If you got a huge, you know what? You know what I'm saying? Like, you've never had to worry about the little extra motion in the ocean, in the bedroom or whatever, because you're like, I got this giant mug. But I'm 48. Cody said, I know. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. But you're 48 and you're taking the little blue pill at this point. Trying, you know what I'm saying? Is that we evolve. We evolve as players, and Cam. I know. I'm sorry, I'm dead. Joey, what do you think about this? I disagree with Josh on this very point. I can't tell shit from he always looked smooth throwing 5 yards to the 12-year-old he was throwing to, the ball boy. Until I see that shit in the game speed, I don't think anything's different.
No, I I don't think
Everybody died in
anything-
the chat. Cody just tripped everybody out and said, I know. And he threw everybody for a loop in the whole fucking podcast.
Magnums are expensive, bro. I'm just saying, like it
Oh my
costs a lot.
God.
It costs a lot to be safe out here, man.
Shut up.
It's hard out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. That's what Joe said.
Yeah. See, Joe knows, man. Joe knows. Sometimes it's a curse, you know. But hey, you live with what you have.
God. Y'all are stupid.
Okay.
What
Now
did
on.
you forget about Cam Newton's football IQ?
Yeah, that's right. Stop thinking about as you know what, Joe. Think about that football IQ instead.
All right, let's football IQ is definitely there, no doubt about it. I believe he had a big learning curve when he first got in the league. I really believe that, but it's there now. Nothing, you can't deny it.
Yeah, I mean, look, is that Cam Newton we know he's a freak athlete, and now it's just continued. What we need to know is this: what we will continue to watch, and we believe in, is that Cam Newton evolves into the next phase as he hits his 30s, right? Because when he hits his 30s, he will not. Lynn says the show deteriorated quickly. True that. Joe got thrown off. He's like, I can't think of my man's IQ number. 7, 9. That's what Joe thought. 9? No. The point that I guess this is that we all know is that Cam has been amazing to this point in his career, but the question is that can he take the next evolution, right? And I hate to say that word because it feels like Ron Rivera ruined the word evolution for us ever. You know what I'm saying? Like evolution means de-evolution. But the question is this, is that ultimately will Cam be able to continue that presence even if he's not able to be a Magic Man on every, we'll see. But everybody downhill. Let's just go to the next call.
Hey, guess who? Josh from Matt.
It's Josh.
Told you I was calling back.
Hey,
anyhow,
it's Josh.
Yeah, but first glance, watching Cam throw on the live stream. Luckily, the stream came live right around my break time at work.
Yeah.
So I checked it out, and while the motion itself isn't radically different, it's a lot smoother. It's much smoother.
Because he's throwing 5 yards.
If he can maintain this, he'll be putting a lot less stress on his shoulder. He'll probably gain a good bit of accuracy. And I think the biggest thing for me is his health. As long as he's stressing that shoulder out, I think he'll be good. We'll see a long-term upward trend. And, man, the defense, again, and I talked about it last time I called in. Man, the defense, it's looking phenomenal. I can't wait to see it in action. Can't wait to see the 11 versus 11 drill. And I'm actually happy to say I'm going to our preseason game up here in Massachusetts against the Patriots. I'm going to that. So I'm actually hoping that's the third preseason game. Actually get a good look, maybe a first at least, at a relatively complete version of our offense and defense. I think that's about it. Now, Tom, I hope you enjoyed your little getaway to Dowlands. I mean, doing a real bad job of covering up this whole closet Saints fan thing, brother.
Oh,
but,
shut up.
You know,
look, Josh is
right.
always, he
We
tried
still
to
love
tell
you,
me
but,
I'm a
you know,
Buffalo fan.
Gonna just have to chew on you for a little bit here and there. It's all right.
Now I got to hear this for 2 years
And,
that I'm a Saints fan.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Keep pounding. Can't wait for the season to start. And shout out to everybody in the chat, especially my man Wes, and on the Buffalo conspiracy. Man knows what I'm talking about. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Josh from Mass. You suck. No, I'm just kidding. You're my man. You're my dude, but don't worry. I was just scouting the other team. Just scouting the other team, just like you are a New England Patriots fan. Oh, don't ever say that again, right? It hurts. It hurts, doesn't it, Josh? It hurts.
Hey, C3, it's your boy Nova Black. I ain't really got
Nova
much
Black.
to say. I'm just waiting for the daggone training camp and then the preseason and all
starving
that good
time.
stuff because I'm on fire for some football.
Amen.
I'm excited to see action, and that's all I want is action. I don't care about the hype talk, this person, that person. All I want to see is some action, some click-clacking, some pads hitting. You know what I'm saying?
Helmet.
So, anyways,
Concussion.
I was calling in to show some love.
Yes.
I might be able to catch the podcast tonight. I might not. But either way, I'm going to share it in the mornings. And
That's
I'm going to
my man.
listen to the podcast and watch the video podcast. Sometimes I do it twice, just like that. Not necessarily in that order, but hey, just wanted to call in and show some love. Keep pounding, keep going, and I'm going to keep supporting you guys. Catch you later.
Thank you, Nova Black. There called in. First of all, Nova listens to the show. Well, first of all, it's been a major part of the show, not just a listener, a part of the show, and that showed this past draft season when he went to the Carolina Panthers Stadium on the draft night and video conferenced into the C3 Panthers draft party. You can't beat that. The dedication there as a fan for the Carolina Panthers and a brother of the C3 Panthers podcast. Thank you, Nova Black, for that dedication there. And I'm with him, Cody. I want to hear some click-clacking of the heads. And I know that's not what they want to hear in the concussion era, but we're ready to put some pads on and get some damn football because it's quiet right now. And I don't want to hear no mess about this, whatever, this women's football they be cheering about on TV. I don't understand.
What, the Women's World Cup?
Yeah, well, they call it, some people call it football. I call it soccer, Joey. That's exactly right. And how the hell can you not score when the damn goal is the size of a fucking school bus? How can it be 1-0? The goal is the size of a school bus. Here, you want to fix World Cup? Hashtag fix World Cup. C3 podcast got it right here. I'm going to tell you 3 steps. Number 1, make the fucking field smaller. It's too giant. These motherfuckers is giant as a motherfucker. Second, actually, I'm going to give you 4. Actually, don't take the small, I'll give you 3 and not the small field size. All right, 3 more. Number 1 is that I think we need to put some circles on the field. Like if you hit it from this spot, you get 2 points, like a 2-point line. We need a 2-point and a 3-point line in football. Second, when you get like 2 or 3 kicks on goal and don't get in, the ball needs to start flashing. And we need the money ball. Like they get that last ball in the 3-point contest, where it's worth more. That's what we need. We need a 2-point or a 3-point shot in soccer. Number 3, and most importantly is that in hockey, they had a problem with this. Back when the New Jersey Devils were running the trap defense and Martin Brodeur was this giant-ass goalie who took up the whole goal, they said, shit, nobody's scoring in NHL and nobody's watching. We need more goals. So what do? they required the goalies to make the pads smaller, right? And what I'm trying to say is this, is you cannot make, if you're not going to make the goal smaller, and you're not going to make the goalies, you have to make the goalie smaller. Jockey goalies. Jockey goalies. Those little I have said this. I've been trumpeting this for years. I'm trying to tell you guys this will fix #fix World Cup, and the most popular sport in the world. I'm ready to fix it because it's not popular enough.
Ken Dye mentioned lingerie football league, and let me tell you, dude, you go in there wanting to see half naked women, but at the end of it, dude, those chicks throw down, dude. They knock the crap out of each other. They know how to truck. I don't know why that isn't more popular than it is now. That seems to be a great show. I'd never turn down an offer to go to that. Football and almost naked women. Come on, I'm sold.
I'm just trying to say this is that in hockey they made the pad smaller. Right, you cannot make the goal bigger in soccer. It's already the size of a fucking school bus, right? You know what I mean? Like, what? You can't double the size of the goal. That would be ridiculous. So, what do you got to do? Reduce the size of the goalie. That's my solution. My solution. But anyway, what do I know? It's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. The number's 252-228-5098. And let's see what you guys got else to say.
Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing? Y'all know who this is. The G Cavassier.
My man, G.
Hey, man. Today, I'm going to talk about, it's not talking about the upcoming season or, my predictions on the season. I'm going to talk about this little video I just watched on Panthers.com about Jake going into the hall, for the Carolina Panthers. I love that dude to death, man.
Yep.
People used to always brag on me and say that he sucked and this and that. Jake De La Home was my dog. That dude was something else, man.
He says every syllable.
Yeah, he had the heart of a damn lion. And he was a country boy just like me, you know what I'm saying? But he had a heart of a damn lion. I am so excited for him to go into the hall for the Panthers. And I'm going to say this, and I told my homeboys this a while back. I truly believe if Jake would have stayed with the Panthers, this is my opinion, I really think we could have won a Super Bowl with him. I really, 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 really believe that.
Boy.
Because that damn dude was amazing, man. I mean, I never, ever forget the NFC Championship when we played the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, at that time, I was underway. In other words, I was out in the ocean. I was in the Navy back then. And I had a friend that worked up, he worked up where all the big screens and everything is at. And we didn't have a TV signal. And I was like, please call down to the berthing. That's where everyone sleeps at. I was like, let me know the final score of the game. He called down there and told me, he was like, the Panthers are going to the Super Bowl. I hung up that phone and he yelled at everybody. It was like, I told y'all the Panthers are going to the Super Bowl because nobody on my boat, nobody but me believed that they could beat the Philadelphia Eagles. You remember the Philadelphia Eagles, they had a good defense, but they had no wide receivers, man. They were just...
It's like the Carolina Panthers. The Philadelphia Eagles were the Carolina Panthers.
Whipped they daggone ass. So I want to say shout out to Jake De La Home. I never got your jersey, but now I'm going to have to look online and see if I can get one because I will rock that jersey. I really, really would. And for everybody listening and to Cody and everybody else, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
That's our man, G. Cavassier. Thank you for calling in to the C3 Panthers podcast. The number is 252-228-5098. And Jake DeLome, like we said earlier in the show, really important part of this franchise and a great storyline. But G's remembering the good days, right? And that is, and he's thinking back, and God bless him. Thank you for your service, first of all, for our country and the people, for us, right? So he said he was in the Navy, and that's amazing right there, and that's a sacrifice that people make that I certainly didn't make. So God bless you for that.
Wait, who was in the Navy?
G. Cavassier said he was in the Navy.
Okay, yeah.
All right. The next thing is I think it's interesting too, is that how he was receiving his news and how we were all receiving our news in 2003. You know, you beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship, and you hear word about it. Rather than today, where we watch sports, we hear word instantly on Twitter. I talk with G. Cavassier on Twitter instantly all the time, right? So I think that's an interesting thing. But the second thing is that, or the next thing, and Carlton pointed this out, is that it wasn't a good ending for Jake Delhomme. That shoulder was a problem at the end. He threw six. We had 6 turnovers against the Cardinals in the playoffs. And then he started the next season. It felt a lot of like, do you remember when we, the Super Bowl with Denver, where we got our ass, where we got beat up at the end, and then we played them, and Cam, first of all, God bless Cam, about to win the whole shit for us, and Jake and Graham Gano missing the fucking kick. I hate Graham Gano. I hate Graham Gano more than anybody. I don't like Graham Gano. I do not like Graham Gano. Do you guys like Graham Gano? What do you think? Joe, you like Graham Gano?
I like him when he makes kicks.
You like him when he makes a 63-yarder that, yes, one kick?
I like him when he makes kicks.
Cody, what do you think about Graham Gano?
I mean, he's not as clutch as I would like for him to be. There are some that he just misses just randomly for no reason. And then the kicks that you don't expect him to make, he does. I wish it was more consistent. And we let go of Harrison Butker, the young dude from
We're kicking
Virginia
ourselves
Tech.
in the Butker for that shit.
And Kansas City just signed him to a deal, man. So it's like we could have had a younger guy, a bigger leg. I don't know, man. I'll put it this way. I don't ever want the game to be in Graham Gano's hands if I have my way about it.
Man, I'm ready to be done with Graham Gano, personally. That's where I'm at. That is where I'm at.
Before we move out, Joe, what was your relationship with Jake Delhomme? How did you feel about him as the Panthers quarterback?
Oh, man, I love him.
Yeah.
Absolutely love him. Big fan. I just wish we could have gotten a Super Bowl.
And at the end, Joe, it fell apart at the end. It's not entirely his fault. There's a lot of other factors, but he had 6 turnovers against the Arizona Cardinals in the playoffs, right? Like it was like 3 or 4 interceptions and 2 fumbles. And then the first, this is what I was trying to make with the Denver game, and why I hate Graham Gano so much, is because after we lost that Super Bowl, we faced the Denver Broncos in our home in the opening season. Our first game of the season was in Denver, and Cam marched us down the field to win that game, and Graham Gano missed it. But Jake Delhomme, after he had that 6 turnover playoff game, had a 6 turnover, 5 turnover first game of the next season, and it was just like the writings on the wall at that point. You know, is that it felt bad, but Jake Delhomme prior to Cam was the best quarterback we've ever had.
So I hate to break it to you, but I think YouTube took another shit on us, bro.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's scrolling.
All right. Boo.
I think we gotta make the shindig section longer.
But maybe. I did that last week. All right. Well, I'm recording the back end. Holy shit. All right, well, so let's do this. Last call, and then I do want to – hold on. Last call. Let's see what we got. I think I got a last call.
I'm going to post the link to the shindig in the YouTube chat.
Hey, this is Carl D. Yeah, I'm calling in. Yeah, at the top of the program, you guys, first of all, what's up, C3 family, and what's up, Tony and Cody, and the rest of the guys. Joey, if you're here tonight, what's up to you too, the mean one. Anyway, at the beginning of the podcast, remember you and Cody were talking about the first celebrity, Charlotte's first celebrity superstar was Cam Newton. As much as I love Cam, that's not true. Like I said, you either go with Grandma Larry Johnson, Rookie of the Year, the first professional sports team athlete to make it to NBA, to make a All-Star team. Yeah, but I just thought about something, guys. The real first celebrity superstar is the one and the only Nature Boy. Woo! Woo! Ric Flair. That's the first celebrity superstar.
I'm closing this call down. Closing the call down. Closing it down. I don't care about no Nature Boy. All right, I do want to bring this up. All right. Thanks for joining the calls. YouTube is down, which is perplexing because Cody last week I said it like 3 hours, so who knows. All right, the last thing I want to do is this. Two things to talk about. Number one is Chris Hogan said that Newton and Brady are two totally different players in their day-to-day routine and approach to practice. Newton is more like kid-like, running down. Newton smiles. Tom Brady just yells at everybody. Anyway, I just thought about this, is that I saw two headlines. Cam Newton and Tom Brady are alike. And then I saw another headline that said they're nothing alike. I'm pretty sure that Colin Cowherd has a hard-on hearing that they're not alike in practice.
Yeah. A lot of shit probably gives him a hard-on that we don't want to talk about.
True that.
He's like a weird dude. But, yeah, man, it's listen, I'm not really worried about the headlines. I've watched enough film, enough games. I know who Cam Newton is as a quarterback. We all do. Cam Newton's been the biggest superstar that Charlotte has had, in my opinion. You cannot go anywhere without somebody knowing who Cam Newton is. He's the man. And I don't know, man. I don't really have too much to say about it other than Cam is the man.
Yes. All right. The last thing, I guess, was, let's see, I saw this. How about this? Is that the Carolina Panthers Pro Football Focus let out, they put out a list of the top 50 players. KK Short was up there at number 27. Luke Kuechly was there at number 7. And I think that Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey are snubs. Both of them. I don't think they were snubbed. But we had two players, KK and Luke Kuechly, in the top 50. Cam Newton's not there. Christian McCaffrey wasn't there. Names that bugged me, guys, were Deion Jones, Stephon Gilmore, Derwin James. I thought that, how about this, is that if we're going to give you recency bias as a problem, then okay with Cam. But what the hell is the problem with Christian McCaffrey? Why isn't he a top 50? You know? And so what have you done for me lately? I understand that with Cam Newton and his shoulder and this and that you might want to put that off. But damn it, what does Christian McCaffrey got to do to make the top 50? He's got to be a top 5 or 10 running back, right? Alone.
I mean, listen, Maurice Jones-Drew put out a list that had him as a top 5. So, right. Yeah, I'm listen.
It's like a top 3 to me.
Man, I don't know how you can leave him out of the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, is that right now? Is that Alvin Kamara is above him because he's been on a good team?
Right.
Yeah, he's been on.
The Dallas running back ahead of him too.
Zeke.
Yeah, I don't know if that was right. I don't think Zeke is.
Zeke's
a good
pretty
receiver.
fucking good. He's good. He is really good. Yeah, I mean, is that this is the year we learn a lot about Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Is he a star? That's what we need. We need a fucking superstar. And I can't wait
here to do it.
I can't wait. I think it's the year to do it. All right. So that's it. Is Cody, we were going to do our QB rankings again, but it's 10:38. I say we get the hell out of here.
Yeah, on a show where we didn't have jack shit to talk about. We're here at 10:30, still rapping. And the only reason we're wrapping up is because YouTube and Shindig took
crash.
a shit.
All right. So what's this? Let's ice the mugs up.
Shout out to all the audio listeners hanging with us through thick and thin. We see you.
True that. So tell me about this. Who you got to ice up, Cody?
So did any of you see LeVar Ball on first? Dude, okay, so well, no one's going to be able to see it now, but LeVar Ball, I'll play this one. I had 2 of them, but I'll just play this one since we're only on audio. He's sitting there talking about who knows what. His son just got traded to the Pelicans, and homeboy is trying to shoot his shot at Molly Karam live on show, and the man is married, by the way. Just throwing this out there, but LeVar Ball gives 0 fucks.
Molly, go ahead, before I get back to him.
LeVar, can I switch gears with you because I have a question here.
You can switch gears with me anytime.
Let's focus.
Even Stephen A is like,
what did he say?
I'll play it over one more time.
I want to hear it. Oh, I can't. What did he say? You can switch beers with me?
Yeah, you can switch gears with me anytime.
That's the truth. I mean, look at it. Play it with me. I mean, I feel good about it. I don't feel bad about that.
Man, it's like LeVar Ball. He talks so much shit.
Molly, go ahead, before I get back to him.
LeVar, can I switch gears with you because I have a question here.
You can switch gears with me anytime.
Let's stay focused.
I mean, dude, there's a certain come on, like there's
dude, that guy. Hey man, I'm with him. I mean, that's like the most endearing thing he said so far in his life.
And he's talking about how great his son is, and they're actively showing clips of Lonzo Ball missing shots and not making plays. Dude, it was just an all-around fail. Everyone talks about how he's an awesome dad and he's there for his son. Yeah, but if you're a son and you're constantly having to apologize for the shit that your father says, I'd be like, hey, Dad, maybe let me handle this, Quit talking for me. As your own man, you don't want another man, even if it's your relatives, talking on your behalf, man. Let your sons grow up and be themselves and quit hogging all the limelight for your own personal growth. So to LeVar Ball, I think you're a clown. I always have. I think the man's a fool. I suck.
Damn, I'm with LeVar on this one. I'm ready to change gears. Changing gears, Joe. You got ice up.
No, so actually, I need to go. I gotta go start my treatment.
Yeah,
all right, Joe, you out here?
I'm gonna use my time to say goodnight. Love being on the show with you guys. It sucks you got booted, but I'll try to be earlier next week.
My ice up pick this week goes to New York. And I don't know who to ice up in this case, but they booed Daniel Jones when he threw the first pitch out at a Yankees game. And they booed David Gettleman. And I don't know who to boo. I don't know who to ice up. I don't know if you ice up your fans for booing your quarterback before he's throwing a pass, or your management for drafting Daniel Jones. So I guess that's my ice up. It's very simple. Easy put. That's it. All right, this is C3 Panthers podcast. It's been crashing for 2 weeks now on YouTube. I don't like that. We will get it fixed, as Cody said in the chat room. Thank you, Cody, for being there on that. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow us every Tuesday night on YouTube, Periscope as well. We'll get this fixed out next week. We'll get it taken care of. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. You can call into the show at 252-228-5098. Cody, what you got?
I am at Cody Lack, CODYLAC on Twitter. Hit me up, man. It's off season, so my Twitter is not just Panthers oriented, be forewarned, but I'll talk with you about anything in the world, and I will defend Cam Newton to the death, damn it. From now to the day I die. It'll never change.
All right, happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers, and we'll see you next Tuesday. We'll get this fixed. Cody, you're the man. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
No problem, brother. Keep pounding.
All right, that's it.
Okay, here's how Miro works. See, it's amazing.
What's everyone doing at David's desk? Ever since marketing started using Miro's collaborative online whiteboard, he thinks all our other teams should sign up. Why? He says Miro's making his meetings disappear. And if every team gets on it, that means even less meetings. They're using Miro for brainstorms, mind maps, customer research.
So could we use Miro instead of having another 100 meetings for every round of feedback?
Yep. You can comment, react to ideas, even leave a recording on the board.
And what about presentations?
There are Miro templates for that.
How do you know so much about Miro?
I've actually been using it all along. I just used a Miro board to plan the best vacation.
Okay, I'm on board.
See how Miro users save up to 80 hours every year by meeting less and doing more. Get on board at Miro.com with 3 boards free forever. That's MIRO.com.